back to the P.D.A. podcast. P.D.A. stands for Purpose Driven Ascension, where we are engaging in conversations and exploring real-life topics that help an individual better understand purpose with authority, strength, and boldness. I am your host, Q Vercetti. Some may know me by Lex. I want to welcome you into another episode of the podcast. For those of you that are new to P.D.A., like I said before, it is for purpose-driven and ascension, which means you are here striving to walk in your purpose and become a purpose-driven individual and ascending. Praise God. So in last episode, we talked about, I ended the segment on Does Everybody Have Purpose? And I gave my thoughts on how I felt like everybody does have purpose, what purpose means, and what it is. And but before I get into that, I really want to get into this on something else. You feel me? I really want to get into some about how I started to share the podcast. But when I started sharing the podcast, I wasn't sharing it and giving it to everybody, because sometimes when you sharing something that you're getting ready to start on, like endeavors that you're getting ready to go forth into, people like to talk on it. People like to say certain things that go against what you are trying to do, and you don't need all that. You don't need all the hateration. You feel me? Then keep all that. So when I was sharing it and I was putting it out, because I was putting it out maybe like a couple days before that I was about to shoot it and upload it and put it out and give it out to the world, right? And there was people that were trying to say, well, if you need me for this, you need me for that, call me this, that, and the third, and woo, 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 and saying, well, you know, you need guests, so put me on. And it's just really about people trying to include themselves in your purpose. And so today, the topic is going to be, they can't steal purpose. Amen. Hallelujah this evening. Okay. So, like I said, somebody will try to include themselves into your purpose. And about that is that, like, you could be doing something so monumental, and you know that God has ordained you and called you to do something so special, like to the point where it's like you heard God himself in your ear. He telling you, like, this is for you. You have to walk in this by yourself, but not wholly by yourself, but you're literally walking in it in the physical by yourself, but spiritually you're walking with it with God. And people will try to say, you know, or say they helping you out by saying, I can help you with this, or I can put you with this, or this and that. And a lot of times they just want to get in on the blessing that God has put and set before you. And you really got to look out on things and people like that. Because as I was looking at people and sharing it and giving over to people, and people talking about I can be a guest and I can talk on certain and special things, and it's just like, have people not even sat and thought about whether if you were meant to be included on something else, or meant to be included on something that God has given to somebody else? So I just, just think on that. Just think on that. Because I was like, man, I love the fact that people really supported me and wanted to be involved in it. But sometimes your support doesn't have to be that you are at the forefront and your face has to be plastered on everything in order to say I support or I'm in agreement with what you're doing. Sometimes support is just liking it or reposting and resharing and loving it and telling other people about it and engaging in conversations, as we are here to say, I see my brother or my sister or my friend, cousin, uncle, auntie, whatever it may be, doing something great, and I want to share it with other people. It doesn't have to be that you are in it, you are doing it, and that you're at the forefront of all of it. You feel what I'm saying? I just wanted to go over that because, like I said, on the topic, what's meant for you is for you. It will not pass you by. And if it's your purpose, you will be in it, right? Right. And also, I want to talk about a little something else, because I get irritated with people saying that because you are in your early to mid 20s that you don't understand or know about certain things. And it's just like, if we think about it, like, sometimes, and I know for myself, some people have been here before. I know I've been here before. Okay? Like, this ain't my first, lifetime being here. This is probably about the 4th or 5th. For real. So, You know, just because somebody is young don't mean that they don't have wisdom. You know, I may not have been through those experiences, but that does not mean that I don't have wisdom or foresight in certain things that God can give me in order to speak towards or to or through people in certain situations, certain things. So we have to be mindful of the things that we say to people. Just because I'm in my 20th year of this, or you're in your 40th year, baby, little do you know that when I was 10, I was already 40. I was already 40, okay? I already knew that. It was already given unto me. Pressed down, shaken together, and run it over to me bosom, okay? Know that. Alright? So, just be mindful of those things. Like, just because I may be younger than you does not mean I don't know certain things or I'm not privy to things. God has all given us wisdom in certain areas and foresight to be able to be smart on how we navigate and move. But we have to just be mindful of things that we say. Oh, you just young, you don't know this, you don't know that. You don't know what anybody knows because you haven't been where they've been. You haven't been through what they've been through neither. So, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Just right quick. But, I'm really about to get into it. Just going back to what I said as far as what somebody would try to include themselves into your purpose. Is that, we have to understand that everybody is here for something greater than themselves. So if I go back to that story that I told with my auntie about purpose and how I was like, you know, auntie, I feel like purpose is about us doing things that God has called us here to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are working and doing a 9 to 5. Because part of me still does feel like this is true, that not all of us are here to just work a 9 to 5. Like, we're not all supposed to just clock in and clock out somewhere most of the time, most of the day, and we only get 2 days of freedom. But my auntie had told me, like, you know, Lex, I don't think you get it. Like, purpose could be within that 9 to 5, and once you've served that purpose within that 9 to 5, God can transition you and move you on to something else, something greater, something better. But until you go through and you live and you walk in that purpose, because like I said, there's somebody waiting for you to walk in your, you know, there's somebody waiting for you to walk into that. Somebody's waiting on you to come to your job to do what you need to do in order for their destiny or for whatever their blessing is to be fulfilled. So, yeah, you know, I had to go over that, but just take this tidbit with you, that there's somebody waiting for you to walk in your gift so they can walk in theirs. I don't know, I feel like I'm preaching on that one. That list right there, come on. There's somebody waiting for you to walk in your gift so they can walk in theirs. So think about, a lot of times you're blessed with a certain gift. You're blessed with the ability to sing or organize or to just whatever the gift may be, you know, all the things that we're able and that God has given us the grace to be able to use as our gifts. And, you know, you could be sitting on it, not knowing that you sitting on it is preventing or keeping somebody else to walk in theirs. So think that's the same thing going along the lines with purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to walk in your purpose. You have to go to that 9 to 5 in order to reach that purpose that you may have for that day, in order for somebody else to reach their goal, for somebody else to reach their purpose. But if you don't walk in it, how can somebody else get the blessing and reap the benefits from it, as well as you reaping the benefits from it too? So just being mindful of that as well. Transitioning on and understanding that God gives us everything we need. Honestly, I believe that. But I also believe that we have certain gifts that He has blessed everybody with differently than the other, to enhance and bring out the best in each other. So we can make that in relationships, platonic, romantic. So when I say that God gives us everything that we need, like, we want for nothing. We have everything that we need. We are not lacking in any area of needs. You know, and in the end, God will give us our heart's desires, but everything that we need, we already have. And that he certainly does bless us differently with certain gifts than others. So the same thing, so one gift that I may have, it may not be the same gift that you have. We can all have similar gifts in some ways, in some shape, form, or fashion, but they're not identically the same. And when I say that they're not identically the same, I mean that by saying that he's tailored our life to us personally. It's not that my gift is tailored for me, and what it looks like for me, it'll look like you the same. So we could have the same gift, but because I'm me, it's going to look different, and I'm going to use it in a different way. So I could be talented at basketball. Somebody else could be talented at basketball. I can use basketball as a way to where I go on and I start teaching kids how to play basketball, how to grow up and be that great player, and how to act on the court and outside of the court, and how to continue to move on through the game. And for you, that gift could be that you go to the WNBA or the NBA and you go on and you inspire kids through that, and how you play and how you handle yourself on the court and things of that nature. So understanding that all gifts are tailored towards each other, all just the same way as purpose. All purposes are tailored towards each and every individual. So that means that as we move on and as we go on in life, that each purpose is designed for anybody else. So nobody can come and steal what was meant for you. Nobody can come to you and be like, that's mine, I'm going to take it. You can't do that because it wasn't meant for you. What was meant for me is for me. And that's why you have to, what I say the last time, run the race that is set before you. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. You feel me? So, and then, like I said, as far as relationships, and how that looks is that sometimes you're in a relationship with somebody romantically where they can bring out the best in you. And the gifts that they have are tailored for them, but they can also be tailored for you. So think about, you're in a relationship with somebody who's great at organizing. And you're like, wow, you're a great organizer. You are such a talented person when it comes to organizing a house or keeping papers in the house nice and neat and clean. And in our mind, we think, oh, that's such a great gift or a great skill to have that is tailored towards them or for them, but it can also be tailored for you as well. You can have a great friend that is good at organizing as well. And we think, oh, that's just good for them, but it's also for you, because sometimes those things can rub off on you and it enhances you in a way. So you've been around them enough to where it's like, oh, okay, I see how they organize, and maybe I should get my life together and organize this way. Or because they're a great communicator. There's somebody that you're in a relationship that communicates greatly, and you know that you're not that great of a communicator. You shut down. But in a way, when you come into that relationship with somebody, you know that relationships take communication in order to grow, in order to move forward, in order to prosper. So that person, as soon as they have a conflict, they right there, let's sit down, let's talk about it, let's get to it. Let's get to all the things that where we had that breakdown in communication. Where you like, nah, I'll shut down, I gotta go, give me a couple days, and I'll get to it. That's fine. They'll give you those couple of days, or they give you a couple of hours that you may need. But at the end, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it, because we're not going to move around the subject or the area or the topic and not speak on it just because you're used to shutting down. Because you have to compromise. And there's things that somebody else can bring out in you that enhances some gifts that you may have. But what I really want to get into, and what we really got to talk about, is these lessons versus blessings. So if we talk about lessons, lesson is someone or something is meant to teach you a lesson within a season or for a reason, or both. Was never meant for long term, was only meant to get you to grow and move closer to your purpose. So when we get into talk about lessons, because life is full of lessons. And I think a lot of times when you're young, you always think somebody is meant for you for the long haul, for the long term. We think, oh, this is my friend, we've been friends since we was in 8th grade or freshman in high school, or we went to elementary, middle school, high school together, we gonna be friends forever, friends for life. And sometimes we have to understand that they're only there, they're only meant for us for that lesson and for a season. You know what I'm saying? They were ordained, they were given to us just to teach us something. They were never meant for the long haul. But when you're in a certain place, in a season in life, we always think that somebody is coming to us to be permanent. And we also have to understand and not get it mixed up. Don't get it messed up that somebody supposed to be there for a lifetime. And sometimes we do that. We get mixed up and we don't listen to God, or we're not privy to, or don't want to be privy to the fact that God has put somebody there in order for us to learn from them, in order for us to grow and to move us forward. Somebody is a catalyst to us ascending or pressing forward in life, getting to that next level, to elevate. And where we find ourselves messed up at is where we place them in a place of blessing. And we think they're a blessing to somebody. Can be a blessing to you and towards you, absolutely, 100%. But when we put them in that blessing category, when they're only meant to be a lesson, you're going to continue to learn lessons. And some people may not agree, but sometimes God will have or allow that person to continue to keep hurting you until you release them and let them go. So you have to learn and decipher when somebody is a lesson versus a blessing. Like I said, they can still be a blessing, but sometimes they are just that lesson. And I think how we can learn that somebody is just a lesson is just going back and looking and understanding that certain things that have gone down, like just the fact that things are happening within the relationship that are creeping and crawling, sometimes even running towards the end of that relationship. But what we keep holding it on. We keep trying to pull it back to us and hold on for dear life so that it doesn't release and move from us. And we see that we've created boundaries, and we've created certain things that we won't allow for our relationships, whether if it's romantic or platonic, and they keep crossing those boundaries. And we are like, well, I'll give them another chance, so I'll just keep doing this. Or maybe if I change myself in order to accommodate them, then we'll continue to keep having this relationship. But how long do you have to compromise yourself in order to maintain that friendship or that relationship? It's not healthy to you, nor is it healthy to them, in order to keep compromising and giving them the benefit of the doubt when, baby, let's be for real. Who's benefiting from your doubt? You can get back to me on that one, okay? So, but no, for real, who's benefiting from your doubt? Who's benefiting from the fact that you doubt that you're secure in a relationship, or that you're secure in that friendship, that they'll be there, that they're able to communicate with you effectively, that they won't dismiss your feelings, or that they're able to show up in the time of need, in the time of help with what you need, all because you just want to sacrifice and compromise yourself in order to keep that relationship. And within that, that's where those lessons come in. The lesson comes in that you have to be tighter or more strict on your boundaries or the things that you want for yourself. And understanding that I'm not willing to compromise, or these are my non-negotiables when it comes to a relationship, romantic or platonic. These are not able to be talked about and be wavered on so that I can accommodate you. And a lot of times we have to sit and think that if somebody isn't willing to respect what you have set in place for yourself, do they respect you enough? Because if they did, they wouldn't be trying to argue and go back and forth with you to say, oh, well, you could tweak this, you could tweak that. Why can't you just this on this, and why can't you that on that? But it's like, I told you and I explained to you what this was for me and why I couldn't go back on this. But you know what I'm saying? That's why there's lessons in it. That's why they're considered a lesson, because you're learning yourself, you're learning other people, and you're learning what you are willing to go forward with, what you're not willing to go forward with. God is also teaching you what you need to learn and understand and know in order to go forward, as far as when it comes to relationships, how to move, who is for you, what is not for you, what fits for you, and what fits and what doesn't fit for you. Moving on and taking that into blessings. So if we think about blessings, these people can be lifetime or seasonal, but it's meant to progress your purpose. Someone or something is blessing your life in a great measure and was meant for the greater good of your purpose, not meant to teach, but to expound on your purpose. So when somebody is a blessing to you, like I said, it can be seasonal. People are blessings within those seasons, but they are also lifetime people as well. So there's somebody that blessing is a lifetime, full of being a blessing unto you as you are unto them. So as it said, is to teach and to expound on your purpose. Excuse me. So when somebody is meant for you, they won't waver. They won't go back and forth. You won't have to argue and put up a fight. It's easy going. It comes naturally most of the time. Sometimes, when relationships, friendships, they get started off, they may be a little rocky. They may be a little, in a place of like, you just trying to get to know each other, or you do have hard, like tough times and tough seasons of a relationship or a friendship where you're trying to figure out each other because you're growing and you're putting yourselves in different spots, and God is hiring and firing and removing and putting people everywhere in order for you to grow. And for you to grow, you're going to have those hard times, those tough seasons where you may not talk to people, but it doesn't mean that your friend or your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband is not still a blessing to you. Like I said, they're meant to teach you, but to expound on your purpose. How they expound on your purpose is just by enhancing things. And when I say enhancing things, they bring out the best in you. Sometimes you have a friend that doesn't bring out the best in you. I can even go back to when I had a friend, or somebody that I considered a friend back in middle school, and when I was hanging around this person, I noticed that they were always getting me into something where I was getting in trouble, and where I was having a hard time in school, or where stuff was happening to me that I didn't like. I can even think about an instance one time where they were like bribing me to do something that I wasn't comfortable with in order to get gratification for something, or for something that happened on their end. And it was just like, I felt very uncomfortable. I felt like I was used. I felt like I was compromising on my morals and my ethics and who I was in order to appease them. And I got no gratification from it. And that's where I know that they weren't a blessing to me. I was never meant to come across them I was meant to come across them because they were a lesson, and nowhere near a blessing, just because I was engaging in doing things that did not make me feel good. It did not enhance me. It did not progress me. If anything, it set me back. It took me back to a place where I didn't want to be, or where I knew that I was growing from, or from where I needed to go. Especially if I said I wanted to do certain things. If I said I wanted to be on the basketball team, and I wanted to be the star player, and I wanted to be the captain of the team, and I wanted to be respectful towards my mother, I was doing things like being disrespectful to my mother, and skipping out on practices, and being bad in school, the things that were keeping me from the goals and the aspirations that I had set for myself, because I was hanging around and being around this person. So I could definitely say and give that example that they were not a blessing, because they weren't able to help bring out the best in me. If anything, they were bringing the worst out of me, and it was keeping me farther from my purpose than having me walking into it. So when it comes to people and blessings, being a blessing to you, you have to see things like that. They're not bringing the best out of you. They're not encouraging you to do good things. If anything, they're encouraging you to do the opposite of what you know in your gut, in your spirit, in your shando, of what you need to be doing. You know God is looking at you frowning, or he's like, man, that's not it. That's not what I called you here to do. That's not what I have planned for you. But you're going the opposite direction of it, and you keep falling or removing yourself farther from me, and yet you're not reaping the benefits of the things that you said you wanted to reap. How can you say you want these things, but you're running from me? So if somebody is a blessing towards you, they will encourage you. They will push you to be greater. They will push you to walk outside of yourself, outside of your comfortability of who you are, instead of pushing you to do things that you aren't comfortable with, as far as in a negative manner. Negative. Because there are some people who will push you, and they're pushing you in a great way. They're pushing you because they know you need to be pushed. They know you need to make that extra step, or you need to take that extra shift, or you need to make that extra sacrifice, but you're not doing it, and you need that push. But what somebody won't do, they won't push you to do things that compromises you and your morals, your ethics, and your goals of where you said you wanted to be as an individual and as a person. They will not do that. They will not have you sacrifice yourself for them. Because that's also manipulation. We ain't gonna go, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother talk. We can get into that. Or we ain't gonna. Okay? But also, we transitioning. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. There's reasons versus seasons. So if we go into reason is someone or something could be here for a lifetime, or however long they are meant to be, to serve a purpose for the greater good of you or a thing. So, like I said, reason is someone or something could be here for a lifetime, or however long they are meant to be, to serve a purpose. So when somebody is here for a reason, they are here for a lifetime. For the most part, this is what I think. That when somebody is here for a reason, they're here for you, for the greater good of you. They're not here for you to defeat the purpose of what you have set out. Sometimes that reason is to teach you a lesson, and that reason could be a great lesson, and it could be a bad lesson. But when it comes to that reason, when we get into reason versus season, that reason is normally, I would say, lesson bound. Like somebody is in a place to be able to show you why, or show you a how, to push you into a better understanding of why something may be that lesson or that blessing. I always think that when we talk about branches and leaves on a tree, when that wind blows, will they go like the season, or will they stay? Usually when they stay, that's their reason. You needed them. They were there to teach you and to push you and to grow you in a way that you needed. And you can also be there for somebody else as well. And then if we talk about season is someone or something was here to teach you a lesson for a specific season, which they have served their purpose and are no longer needed. Which is the opposite of reason. Like I said, when that wind blows on that tree and that leaf starts falling and it starts flying, their season has ended. We going into the winter season. They was here for the fall. They served their purpose and their reason for that season. But since the season has changed, they gone. You got to start getting you some people, some friends that are like that branch or them roots. Them roots ain't gonna go nowhere, alright? That's that reason. Roots is reason. They meant for you. It will not pass you by. They stay through the long haul. And that's that purpose when you think about it. For real, like, purpose can be within a season. You have your purposes within seasons, and it's for a reason. And it's to teach you a lesson while also being a blessing towards you as well. But in that, I can definitely say that I've been through some seasons where I was learning some things, or where I thought that I was going to be doing things for the long haul, for forever, like, or just people that you think that you're going to have forever. Like, you don't ever think that they're just there for that lesson or just for a reason, when that reason is to teach you that lesson. You think that they are for forever. And when I look back on it, man, I truly thank God. Thank God that He opened my eyes to them being just a season. We all have some seasonal people in our lives, and we have to come forward and be truthful about it and understand it. And we can't be delusional in it. Sometimes we like to be a little delulu. We like to be delusional for the simple fact of having fun or to enjoy life. But I think the most enjoyment that you get out of life is when you're honest and truthful with yourself, and of acceptance of somebody not being for you, and not holding on to someone longer than they should be. You got a seasonal person that you're trying to hold on for reasonable purposes, and then you're trying to figure out why you're upset, or why things aren't working out with them, or why do they continuously do the things that you have constantly expressed make you unhappy or uneasy. And it's because you're trying to put them in a reasonable place when they are very much a seasonal person. They're going to fall short because you have them in a position that God never qualified them for your life. Oh my God, I just preached. Did y'all hear that? Put me in the pulpit. Put me in the... Oh my God. Y'all about to make me start playing the organ, go to tithes and offerings. Bring out your checkbooks. Open up the app. Open up the app. Give your tithe and offering on that one, baby. Come on. God has qualified them for a whole nother reason, a whole nother purpose within your life. But you have put them in a place that they are unqualified for, baby. Come on. You cannot put somebody somewhere where God has not ordained them to be. They are going to continuously fall short until you realize and understand they are not meant for you. You can't put seasonal people in the reasonable place, in the reason places. You can't put people who are lessons in the blessing places. You put those people who are seasonal, teaching you a lesson, in a place where they're supposed to be a blessing and for a reason, and they fall short each time, and your heart gets broken. And God will continue to allow it until you understand, until you are acceptance and seeing that they were not for you in that purpose. And that can go for farther than people. That goes for your purpose. That goes for jobs. That goes for your kids. That goes for multiple things in life. And that can go back to the first episode where I talked about forcing things and putting things that into alignment that was never in alignment for you. So if you keep trying to be that real estate agent, knowing that that is not for you, sometimes God gives you and allots you things for a season. He will allot you to be successful, to be that six-figure salary person for a purpose, for a season. Because that's what you needed within that season to get you to that next level. But yet you keep trying to play that position and play that part, and it's not working out for you, and you're trying to understand and find out why, And it's that God has already told you multiple times, this is for you to transition into the next higher place. And because it doesn't look like what you think it should look like, or what you want it to look like, you're running away from the blessing that God has ordained for you. That purpose. You're running from purpose. You're running from the very thing that God has put in front of you. And I know this is supposed to be about stealing purpose. Now they can't steal that purpose, but boy, I just had to get into that, because if we just talk about it and just kind of got to reiterate it, because even for myself, I know I fall short, and I put myself in those places where even now where I'm in a season right now where I was like, God, I don't understand or feel like I'm meant to be a teacher. And I was just like, I'm unhappy. I don't feel like I should be here. I just feel like I should be somewhere else doing something better. And little do I know, or did it take me some time to understand, that this is a transitional season. So this is transitioning me from this place into the next place. I don't know what the next place could be or what it is, but it was brought to my attention that this season is transitioning me, preparing me for the next season. So, understanding that this season is very much giving reason. It's not meant for me for a lifetime. Just like a season for you could be reason. It's to teach you something. It's a lesson in it. There's something that you need to see, that you need to understand, that you need to experience in order to take you to the higher place, and understanding that somebody can't infiltrate or walk in and take and gravitate towards and away from what is meant for you. So, if I'm in this season to learn about something, I have to continuously play my part, to be in it, to show up each and every day, even when it's hard, even when I know and I'm like, daggone it, I'm tired of waking up. There's times where I'm tired of waking up at 4:30 in the morning and going to the gym, and then turning around and going to work, and I'm there tired, and I'm creating lesson plans or doing things on the fly and showing up and being this and that person. It is for a reason. It is to teach me something. It's for me to experience it. But if I don't walk in it the way I should, the way God has called me to, somebody else could miss out on theirs. And not saying that you got to live your life for somebody else, because you don't. You're living your life for God and you. But God has also given us the ability to live our life for us. And our gifts are here to enhance other people as well. So if you don't walk in yours, somebody else could be missing out on theirs. You know what you feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So in that season, I just want to go back on and touch on how sometimes in a season we think that, or we feel that people are here and meant for us for a long time. And I can give an example about how I was messing with somebody, you feel me? I just knew that this is a reason. This is my reason. This is my season for grace, for favor. This is my season to reap what I have sown. Hallelujah. No, for real. I thought this person was my reason more than just a seasonal person. And what made me understand and see that they were seasonal was because I couldn't even be myself with them. And somebody gonna be like, oh, that ain't a reason, or to say, oh, they were seasonal, but no, like for real, like we have to be for real about it. Like if you can't be yourself, you feel like you have to alter who you are, your personality, in order to accommodate and appease them, they not for you. Because that person, I remember they was telling me, you just do too much when you excited. And that let me know that I was too much for them. And that sometimes, and when I think back on it, it was just like I had to dim my light down in order to make them comfortable. And I was just like, man, like when I'm around you, I have to just be this nonchalant, cool, calm, collected person, because that's who you are portraying or trying to make yourself to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm always a laid back, cool individual. I've always gotten that. That's always been a compliment, or just something that people have picked out and noticed about me. But like, when I'm also being me, I know I'm loud and I'm excited, and I always can crack a joke, and I'm always coming back with comebacks, and that's just me and who I am. Like, I give off that great energy and that vibe that people are attracted to. And I was around them, and I had to always dim that or turn that down. And it was just like, turn that down because you doing too much, or that's too much. And it was just like, it made me realize and think, they not meant for me. They're not that reason. They're not that blessing. They're very much that lesson and that seasonal person. And needless to say, they are no longer with they are no longer with us in the flesh. Okay, they are no longer experiencing this experience. But that's just to say, for you to take that and compare it to your life. Like, even on jobs, you have to see that sometimes a job will ask you to diminish who you are in order to appease and accommodate other people. That ain't the job for you. Because if anything, jobs, they hire you because you have great qualities and things about yourself that enhances them as a company. They need you and your skills and your traits and those soft skills, those sets that you have, in order to enhance them and bring them to the light, in order to make them successful. But if they're constantly trying to ask you to dim and tone that down, and don't be yourself, and do this and do that, and you got to wear this and that, this, that, and the third, that ain't for you. That's not the job for you. Now, I ain't saying go quit your job. Please. Don't go quit your job, because, baby, if you can't pay your rent, do not come to me. Okay? You're going to have to march right on down to that unemployment office, because I can't help you with that one. But what I'm saying is to be mindful of the things and the places that you put yourself, the jobs that you apply for, because the job that's for you, the people that is for you, won't ask you to diminish and dim yourself. They won't ask you to, like I said before, to negotiate your morals and ethics in order to appease and accommodate them. If anything, they want and they will bring out and enhance the things that you have in order to make both successful. Because on the back end, when you're doing a great job and you're bringing out those great skills that you have, they're going to reward you for it, because you're working towards and using your potential to what it needs, because they're reaping the benefits from it. So you'll get a raise. Or because you're bringing great things to a friendship, they like, friend, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm going to pay for that for you. Or let's go on this trip together. Or I want to celebrate you and I want to thank you for this. Or I'm going to give you this because you supported me through this and you helped me through that. Or, babe, you know, you did so good. Oh my God, babe. Like, you have been so supportive of me. Like, oh my God, because of my friends died and you just showed up and you picked me up on that brunch and you just took care of me, babe. Like, oh my God, I just want to give you this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get rewarded in different ways for being who you are authentically. And it shows when you show up as who you are and you don't diminish and bring down your light in order to accommodate others, you get rewarded for it. Whether it be in the physical, it'll be spiritual. It's the same thing with God. When you show up as who you are with God, you're continuously showing up in the relationship with God and you're fostering that relationship, you're praying, you're reading your word, and or you're volunteering, or you're sowing the seed and giving your time to God, on the back end He blesses you with things. Now don't go into it and do it for reaping the benefit of it, but you go into it doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you want to foster that relationship with God. On the back end He blesses you with other things. It can be financially, it could be that where that you did that little something on the back end that you weren't supposed to do. He told you don't do that, but He overlooked that and said, don't worry about that, I'm gonna still bless you and give you this on the end, where He blesses your children. So you just have to be mindful. You have to be understanding of reasons versus seasons, lessons versus blessings. Understanding when somebody is a lesson versus a blessing. Understanding when somebody is here for a reason and versus a season. Okay? Understanding that lesson, short term, is not here for long. They're here to teach you something. And that blessing, they're here for a lifetime. They're here to get you right. They're blessing you. They're enhancing you. That reason is for a reason. They stayed through the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. They that root in that tree. Come on. Come on, church. Everybody say root. Thank you. Come on, root. And then season. When somebody is seasonal, they only here for a short amount of time. They're not here for exactly what we think or for however long we feel like they should be. But they're here to, I would say, teach you something within that season, or something is seasonal, is for your life, for that season, to take you to that next level. So just being mindful of that. Man, I feel like today it just went by so fast, but it was such a great talk. It was such a great episode. I wish I could go on longer. I do. But I thank y'all for joining me. Make sure y'all follow on all social media platforms. I am on Instagram at P.D.A.pod. Follow and subscribe, like, comment on the YouTube channel. That's P.D.A. space capital P for podcast. So it's P.D.A. podcast on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to the Patreon as well, because I'm gonna be putting some things on that bad boy. Okay, that's where you can also give your tithes and offering. All right, don't be trying to shortchange me. It ain't required, but it is welcome, baby. I thank y'all so much for tuning in and joining in with me and being a part of this and supporting. Make sure you please share. Get this out to everybody. Please support. I love y'all. Thank y'all. I'll see you next time. Peace.